All right, guys, what's going on? Hope you're doing good. Back with a Sebastian Rogers video. What I'd like to discuss in this video is I'm sitting here looking at stuff from 4 months ago, and as I look over the Sebastian Rogers case, go back over stuff, go back and listen to stuff. Um, what I hear here is that there's just a lot of trauma in this case, a lot of trauma. And not only that, guys, analyzing this, I believe there's a lot of trauma and possible motive in the Sebastian Rogers case. But when you add the two together, it's not good. It's not good. So let me, if you haven't heard it, or you have heard it and forgot about it, back in California, apparently, Sebastian was exposed to a 15-year-old, and Seth said he took Sebastian's innocence. Again, there's a lot of trauma with this case, and along with that may be a lot of motive. So let me let's listen to it here.
And there was nothing I could do in California because the kid was 13. But they let that happen. And they didn't bother to try to even get my son help until last year. Here, my son is just turned 15 in December.
And I'm sorry, I don't think any of us were aware of that. And I am so sorry that, number one, that he went through that. And two, that as a parent, you're going through a parent's worst nightmare, but that's like the second worst nightmare.
My son around his daughter. Because Chris has turned around into my mother told my mom, your grandson's.
Wow, guys. Wow.
No, he's not. He's a victim that hasn't got the help that he deserves and that he needs so that he can get over the traumatic incident that has happened to him. That should have never happened underneath their watch to begin with.
Say, guys, there's just a lot of trauma and possible motive going on here. So I just going back. I mean, this is one of the topics, that makes you wonder. And then Chris and Katie, or I guess Chris basically, Katie I guess would be Faith's stepmom. But there was I guess Chris was trying to, get Katie back in, or not Katie, but get Faith back in the house, and it sounds like there was some friction there between Chris wanting Faith back in the house and Sebastian being there. You know what I mean? But as an investigative point, you have to look at that. I mean, you just can't sweep that under the rug. You have to look at that as an investigative point, as a possible motive, Now, does that mean Sebastian's unalive? No. It doesn't mean he's unalive. But, as an investigative standpoint, you have to look at that and go, okay, is there a possible motive there to remove Sebastian from this household. So faith can come into it. And I'm just strictly speaking from an investigative standpoint, you know. You have to look at that. And I'm sure police are looking at that. So, again, there's a lot of trauma, a lot of motive, a possible motive that everybody's, you know, watching, looking at, analyzing the behavior of everybody. You know, what exactly? I mean, there's a lot of questions still yet to be answered, and we can't forget. I know there's a lot of drama going on right now with the case, but I want to keep the investigative focus on my channel anyway, centered around, you know, where did Sebastian go missing from? He went missing from Stafford Court. What was the circumstances leading up to his disappearance? You know, what was the behavior and actions after his disappearance? You know, who was Sebastian, you know, around maybe a week, 2 weeks before his disappearance? You know, if this was planned by someone or some people, was there, you know, was it someone close to Sebastian? You know, as an investigative standpoint, you guys, is it somebody close to Sebastian? Is it somebody that just had access to Sebastian? A lot of questions as far as an investigative look into it goes. So yeah, guys, a lot of unanswered questions. You know, a lot of people still have questions about, you know, you know, is there truth or is there lies being told about the CPS reports from back when? You know what I mean? Is somebody downplaying the CPS reports when, in fact, those CPS reports are very serious? You know what I mean? I still think that the CPS issues may come into play. Let me stress that, may come into play later on in the investigation. I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll just have to wait and see. But most crimes, well, yeah, about all crimes have a motive. Whether someone just flips out and does something, or it's, you know, premeditated, planned, whatever. Normally always a motive behind the crime. What's the motive here? What's the motive here? If it's a crime, more than likely it is, from what we're, you know, like everybody says, the police don't get the FBI involved in a runaway, or, you know, what you know, a runaway or a kid walking off. The Secret Service. So that being said, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.